right? So we know the tables. Under this database, under this table section, you can find out these are the tables. And other than these table, we have another tables like derived tables, and temporary tables, right? And the first tables are permanent tables. Permanent table. Okay. So these three tables we have to discuss. Already we know the permanent table. Permanent table is nothing but whatever the tables under your database table section. So the derived table and temporary table we have to discuss. And today we are going to discuss about the common table expression. So what exactly this common table expression will do? So what is the syntax to create a common table expression, and what is the usage of this common table expression, right? So in what kind of situations we are using, what is the functionality of this common table expression? So the common table expression is a temporary result set. So when you are writing long and lengthy queries, for example, I have this query, select star from EMP as E, inner join department as D on E dot department number equal to D dot department number. So if you are executing this one, this is the result is coming, right? So here you have only only one line of the SQL statement. If you have 1,000 lines of the SQL statement, sometimes you have to write down these many statements also in a single transaction, in a single stored procedure. So when you are writing 1,000 lines of the SQL command, so what I am going to do here, I want to make these 1,000 lines of the SQL statement inside a common table expression. I want to treat this as a one expression, and whatever the result is coming from this expression, so I'm going to write down a select statement or a delete statement or update statement against this expression, against this temporary result set. Okay, right. So the simple syntax how to write down a common table expression is, the first you have to start with keyword, and then the table expression name you have to give. What is the name you want to give for this result set, whatever the result is coming from this query, whatever the query we have. So the name I want to give CTE EMP. As keyword you have to use bracket to open, and whatever the statement you want to put inside you can put over here. Okay, so from this result set you can write down whatever the statement you want to write down. Either you want to write down the select statement or update statement or delete statement. I want to write down select statement. Select star from this expression, because this statement whatever you have mentioned inside this name, so you can call this one only directly, but immediately you have to call. For example, I want to create first this expression, later I want to select this one, or later I want to use this. No, you can't do that one. Immediately you have to execute this common table expression. Immediately you have to use this common table expression. If you are executing, what is the result will come? It is throwing error. So the column department number was specified multiple times in this CTE. So this query is returning more than one time the common table, this department number from the DEPT table as well as EMP table. So you have to specify from which table you want to take the department number. So employee number, employee name, salary, hire date, and E dot department number, D name, and location. So these columns are enough. See, this is the result is coming. So what exactly, how it is executing? Okay, so we can compare this common table expression with a view also. So normally in view what we are doing? So we are creating a view, create a view. The view name also I am going to give CTE EMP. Okay, and to create this view I want to use this statement as this statement we have used. So if you are creating this one, yes, you can create, and whenever you want to use this one, yes, you can use. Only select statement you can execute. Select star from this name. Then what is the difference between these two? But in this common table expression, you can't execute only this single statement. Sorry. Right. So you have created view, right? So that is the reason it is. So what I want to do, I want to drop the view. Drop view. The view name is this one. Okay. I want to give a different name. The CTE name I want to give C underscore CTE. The view name I want to give V underscore. Okay. Right. So I want to create this view. Done. And if you want to select that view whenever you want to select, yes, you can select like this way. But in this CTE, you can't execute only this one. See, invalid object name CTE. So what's happening here? Whenever you are creating a view, it is going to store that view inside a database. Whatever the view we have created here, it is going to store that under the database of views. Whenever you want to write down the select statement, update statement or delete statement, any statement, so that query you can use whenever you want. But here in the CTE, it don't store anywhere. Where it will store? It will store in memory. In memory means only until the execution of the CTE it will exist. Once the execution is completed, it will drop. So that is the reason every time whenever you want to select this CTE, so immediately you have to execute this expression also. So that is the reason I want to execute whole CTE statement at a time. See, now only you will get the result. If you are executing only this part, no, it is syntax error. Always whenever you are writing a CTE, immediately you have to write down either it is a select statement or delete statement, whatever you have to use immediately. Okay, so there are two kind of common table expressions. One is recursive and another one is non-recursive. So whatever we have created now, it is non-recursive. Okay, so one more functionality here. What are the list of the columns your CTE is going to return? You can specify those columns also. Same number of columns. Here, how many number of columns are coming? Employee number, employee name, salary, hire date, department number, department name, location. Total 7 columns it is returning. So I want to specify the same column names. You don't need to give the same names. Okay, I want to give this employee number, I want to display like a employee number. Employee name I want to display like a employee name. The next one is salary, and the next one is joining date. I want to display. I don't want to display like hire date. The next one is department number. The next one is department name. The next one is location. You can close the bracket. Okay. So whenever this result is coming from this query, the CTE will display each column. For example, employee number result is going to display under the employee number, employee name under employee name, hire date on salary on salary column, hire date on joining column. Okay, in this order. So I'm going to execute this one. See, it is displaying these column names: employee number, employee name, salary, joining date, department number, department name, location. If you are not specifying these column names, then what will happen? It will take whatever the columns are returning from that query. See, these column names are. For example, if you are specifying here total 7 columns and the query is returning 7 columns, no problem. By mistakenly, if you are specifying only 6 columns only, then what will happen? The CTE has more columns than were specified in the column list. Okay, the CTE, these columns are more than whatever you have specified in the column list. Okay, that is the one syntactical error will come. So any kind of statement you can put inside in this parenthesis. Either it is 1,000 lines or 100 lines or 500 lines. You can put the logic over here. Okay. So what is the difference between the CTE and view? The view is going to store permanently in a database. The common table expression don't store anywhere. So what is the existence of this common table expression? Until the execution. So once you are selecting this statement and you are going to execute over here. So once the execution is completed, then it will drop. Until the execution, where it is going to store? It is going to store in memory. So the in memory will clear every time once the execution is completed. So if you want to do any task, it needs some memory, right? So whenever you are going to execute this common table expression, so it is also going to store inside the in memory. The scope of this common table expression is until the execution. Okay, did you get the clarity about the difference between the common table expression and view? Right. So this is the non-recursive common table expression. Okay, right. For example, what I want to do, whatever the common table expression here it is coming, so I want to use that common table expression result and I want to create a new common table. It's a nested common table expression, right? For example, you can write down simply like this way. I don't want to get all the result from the, here I am going to write down simply select star from EMP. So I don't want to use immediately the select statement for this common table expression. Okay, so I'm going to write down one more CTE. So if you want to write down one more CTE within the same CTE, this is called nested CTE. So you can put comma, and what is the name you want to give? I'm going to give C underscore CTE department. Okay, as bracket open select star from department. Okay, so total how many CTs are there inside this? This is one CTE result and this is another CTE result. So this first CTE result will get from this query, whatever the query you are putting. From the second CTE result, whatever the result you are putting over here, it will give. So finally what I want to do, you have to call this one, either you have to update, either you have to delete. So immediately you have to do, otherwise it is throwing error. What error it is throwing? Incorrect syntax. So whatever the result you are going to generate by using these expressions, immediately you have to use. What I want to do, I want to write down a select star from this common table expression, first common table expression, as E inner join the second common table expression as D on E dot department number equal to D dot department number. So if you are executing this whole statement, what will happen? The result will come. So the first CTE, this one will give the employee information. Either it is employee information or whatever the select statement you are putting inside here. Here we are putting just a simple statement. If you have 1000 lines of the query and you did some calculations, okay, so whatever the calculations, whatever the data you are getting, so that data I am going to join with another data set, another result set. So the another result set is related to the departmental information. So that will come from this second nested CTE. So finally what I am going to do here, these two data sets, these two result sets information I am going to join, and whatever the equal data I am going to find out that data. So in this way you can write down the number of common table expressions. You can write down one more comma, and if you want to generate another C underscore EMPDEPT, yes, you can write down as one more CTE. You can write down select star from EMP1 table. So if you want to use this one, third one, yes, you can use. If you don't want, yes, you can leave it, no problem. It's not mandatory to use all the result sets. Okay, so this is nested CTE. This is this is CTE1. You can call like CTE expression 1. This is CTE expression 2. This is CTE expression 3. So all these three result sets, each CTE will give some result whatever the query you are putting inside. This is another result and this is another result. So once you are getting these results, so wherever you want to use this result in a single select statement, yes, you can. So why we are making these kind of CTEs? For example, I have one query with 1000 lines. So we did a number of tables we are joining and we are getting some result. And in another query I have 500 lines of the SQL statement. So these first 1000 lines of the SQL statement is giving total sales information. And the second query is giving total expenditure. Okay, so finally what I need, so sales minus expenditure I'm expecting, whatever the result is coming from the first result set and whatever the result is coming from the second result set. So in that situation, how can you calculate if you don't have common table expression? If you have common table expression, what we are going to do here, we are going to create a with CTE. The first CTE is the sales information, okay, as bracket open, the 1000 lines you can write down, and the next one more CTE expression, comma, this is expenditure, bracket as bracket open, 500 lines, bracket close. So finally you can join these sales and these sales, this expenditure, you can minus sales minus expenditure in the final select result. So it is easy and it will give you clarity to do that process. Okay, that is nested CTE. So what is the recursive CTE? So in the real-time scenarios, what they are expecting, for example, I have a table, that is date table. Create table date. Okay, the table name is date. So for this date name, date ID, the data type is date, comma, month ID integer, month name varchar, and year integer. So in this way you can write down quarter number, quarter ID integer, okay, and week name varchar. So I want to create this simple table only. Okay, right. Command completed successfully. Select star from date table. So there is no data. So now what I am expecting, I want to fill this table with the dates from 2014 to 2020. Okay, from 2014 January 1st to from 2020 December 31st. This is a date table. So this is one time loading. One time if you are keeping the date information inside this table, then the next time when you are going to load the data again after 2020 December 31st. So how can we generate a date from a particular date to a particular date? By using the common table expression. Okay, right. So I'm going to write down the common table expression like this way. With, okay, CTE. So what is the name you want to give? C underscore date. Okay, I don't want to specify any list of the columns, as bracket open, okay, as bracket open, select, what is the starting date? 2014 0101. So I want to give this as a start date. Union all. Okay, so if you are writing until this part only, what will happen? Select star from, what is the CTE name? C underscore date. So this is giving just 2014 0101. Right? So now what we have to generate from 2014 0101 to 2020 December 31st. Until this date we are going to recurring this expression. So whenever you are going to write down the recursive CTE, you have to specify union all. Okay, so what we are going to do here, we are going to take the start date from the CTE. So what will happen here? This common table expression, once it is starting the execution, it will execute this query first. This is the anchor part we are calling. First it will execute the anchor part. What result it will get? This result will get. In the second statement, what we are going to do here? After the union all, it will come to execute the second statement. In the second statement, what we are writing? We are going to write down the select start date. What is the start date? Whatever the result is coming from this common table expression. So this common table expression already executed the first statement. This common table expression already executed the first statement. So what we have to do? So the second statement will get from the CTE whatever the start date is there, that is this one. So what we have to do, if you want to generate the second date, I want to add date add dd comma 1 day for the start date. So what is the result will come over here? Date add dd comma 1 start date as start date. Type don't match between the anchor and the recursive part of the column start date of recursive data. Okay, right. So whatever this date is coming in the first statement, so for that statement we are going to add 1 day. Then it will come 2014-01-02. So this operation I want to do until where this start date less than, until which date? 2020 31st. Up to this date I want to do this operation. So there is a type mismatch is coming over here. So in that situation what we are going to do here, instead of specifying direct the dates over here, declare two variables. I will explain you later whatever the variables. At the rate of start date, the date equal to 2014-01-01. Okay, so don't take directly dates over here. Store inside a variable and take that variables. Declare at the rate of end date, that is date. So until which date you want this one? 2020 31st. Okay, this is the end date. Must declare the scalar variable at start. So you have to execute this entire with the declaration of the variables also. Incorrect syntax near with. So you have to put this, because before with statement if you are declaring any variables you have to put that one, right? So you just execute this one. So why this kind of statement is coming? The statement terminated, the maximum recursion is 100. So your common table expression is going to recursive more than 100 times, because from 2014 to 2020 total how many records it is going to return? So total it is going to return almost for a year 360 rows, and total how many years are we are going to generate? Almost 6 years. So 2000 records it is going to generate. So if in that situation what you have to do, so you have to specify one option. The option is max recursion. So how many number of rows you are going to generate? If you are putting 0 default, then it will allow maximum number, infinity number, right? So you just execute now. See, from 2014 0101 to 2020 December 31st it is generating. So this is just giving the start date. By using this start date, how can you find out a year in this date? This is giving just start date only. How can you generate year, month? Simply you can write down the date functions. The order is date and month ID. So how will you get the month ID? The function month of start date as month ID. And the next one is month name you are expecting. The month name we are getting by using date name function mm start date as month name. And the next one is year. So year of start date as year name. The next one is date part function I am going to use to find out the quarter. So how to find out the week name? Date name, week, day, comma, start date. If you are executing, this is giving all this result. Alias name I am going to give week name. Okay. So this result you can store into your table. This table, date table. How can you do that expression? Insert into date table. Whatever the result is coming from this query. You just execute this one. 2557 records are loaded. You can check in the date table. See, this is the result is loaded. Simply, we are generating from 2014 to 2020. We are loading the data into date table. You can generate more like what is the week number, what is the minutes, hours, seconds, all by using the sum of the date part expressions, date name expressions, date part expressions. Okay, so this is the way we are going to load the data into a date table by using the common table expression. So this is a recursiveness. The same functionality if you want to use by using a while condition, you have to write down. So here if you are using the common table expression, you don't need to do the looping. Automatically it will do. This is the anchor part. The second one is the recursive part. The second statement will loop until this condition is satisfying. What is the start date? First initially it is 2014-01-01. So whether this 2014-01-01 is less than 2020 12/31st, yes. Until the condition is satisfying, it will loop that record. So every time whenever it is looping, it will add one date for the start date. So until it is reaching the 2020 12/31st, it will loop and it will generate the records. It is not storing anywhere in the database until you are loading the data into a database table. Okay, so this is about the common table expressions. So one more display here. One more thing I am going to explain you guys. If you have a duplicate values in a table.
Okay, one second.
So whenever you have the duplicate values in the table, so how can we remove the duplicate values? There are two ways you can find out the duplicate values. For example, I am going to create one table. Or I think I have already one table in here. Select start from emp1 table. So in this table, all these records are duplicate records. So I'm going to insert two more records. Insert into emp1 table values 200 comma Deepthi comma salary is 3000 and hire date is 2017-01-01. You just execute this one, and again I'm going to insert the same statement. Okay, so in this table we have duplicates. The same record 100 employee number is repeating more than 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and the second 200 employees repeating more than one time. So how can you find out the duplicate records in this table? So you can find out like this way: employee number comma count of star as count e number. Okay, so group by employee number. So total 100 employee number is 4 times is there, and employee number 200 is 2 times is there, right? I want to insert one unique record. Insert into emp1, that is 300 around 4000 salary and 2017-02-01. Okay, so then insert into emp1 values. So now what you have, 300 employee number is only one time and 200 employees 2 times, the 100 employees 4 times. So what I am expecting here, whatever the records, the count is greater than 1. So you have to write down like this way: having count star greater than 1. Okay, so these are the 2 duplicate records. If you have 1 crore records in a table, if you want to find out how many records are duplicates, you can find out like this. So now what I want to do, I want to delete the duplicate records. Delete in the sense, so here the 100 is repeating 4 times. I want to keep 1 time, and the remaining 3 records I want to delete. How can you do? So that you can achieve by using the common table expression. And this is the one method to find out the duplicate records in a table. This is the one query to find out the duplicate records in a table. The another way is by using the analytical function, that is select star comma row number over order by employee number, ascending or descending order, as row number from which table? emp1 table. So what is the result will come? It will give the, see, for 100 it is given the row number 1, 2, 3. So what I want to do, I want to do the partition by employee number. So for each employee number, see, 100 is repeating 3 times, so that is the reason the row number is coming 1, 2, 3, 4. It is coming 4 times. Then again the 200 is coming 2 times, so that is the reason 1, 2 is coming. The 300 is coming only 1 time. Okay, so this statement I am going to put inside the common table expression with duplicate CTE as bracket open close. So now what I want to do, I want to find out the select star from this duplicate CTE, where I'm going to write down the where condition on this column. where the row number greater than 1, row number greater than 1, it will give the duplicate records. What records it will give? Greater than 1 means this record it will give, this record it will give, this record it will give, and here it will give this record. It will keep only this and this and this one. I want to delete these 3 records and I want to delete this record. So simply you can, instead of select statement, write down the delete statement. Delete from 4 rows are affected. So there is no duplicates here. Right? There is no duplicates. We'll check in the table. Select start from EMP1 table. Distinct records are there. So in your real-time scenario also, if someone is asking you, please delete if there is any duplicate records in this table. So you have to use this query only. The above query is only for, this query is only for finding the duplicate records. But if you want to delete the duplicate records, so this common table expression and this row number function you can use, and you can find out the duplicate records as well as you can delete by using the delete statement.